We are now here at Astragon and we are having a look at Police Simulator 18, and with me is...
It's Paulo from Big Moon.
Some very lovely developers from Portugal who are going to show us a game that they have developed themselves. Okay, what are we seeing here?
Well, currently, first and foremost, the game itself is with a very freedom in terms of how to play it, because this is an open world with 10 square kilometers, and we recreated a urban situation, so a full city with the city is based. It's a fantasy city, but it's based with inspiration of U.S. city. Of course, we call it Boston City, actually Boston Bay City, and of course, it's a kind of fantasy that we bring between Boston and Miami as well. And this combination brings that you can run, you can drive every places, you can talk with everyone, and that's the first situation. In terms of the police itself, it's a career of being a police officer. So we start always as a younger police with the first rank. We have 6 different ranks to progress. And you can, for example, you start all the time with a shift. So this shift, when you start, it can be during the night or during the day. So the shift is turning, and it's randomly about that. And also another thing is to make sure that when you start, you can interact with all of your colleagues. Everyone has a personality. Everyone is
Try it.
For example, I can go here and try to speak with this lady, and she's, for example, is upset with me, so they don't want to talk with me, and so on. Some of them will collaborate, and some of them will show. So the next stuff is I need to log in my system, for example. So I have my desk where I can select my desk, for example, right here. So okay, and then in my desk I can log in. So okay, I'm logging in to the system. And using this login, I will be able to see now what kind of duties from my rank I'm able to select. So for my rank, I can for day 1, for example, okay, I can do for, let's say, traffic duty for watercress. Okay, I can select it, I can see the details, and after all of these, I can confirm or cancel. Okay, and once confirmed, I get a logging off. And I already have the shift time starting. So right now, I'm doing an 8-hour shift. 8 hours is fictional because it's a representing. We have a scale that. Also, there's 2 things, if you see in the ad, that is my character Phil Jones, because I can select the character, including male, female, and this character, despite the XP, that is the progressing about all this stuff, you also have the life, and you also have the conduct. The conduct is the way that we represent if you are really a person that with integrity or not, because otherwise you cannot be a police. So that said, right now I have a mission, so I need to walk and collect my equipment. So I have here the mini-map, for example. I can jump for the map. The map you see is already highlighted exactly where is the location for my mission and where I need to move. Okay, so that's pretty much like that, and I can right now the headquarters, for example. I can speak with the detectives, the captain. You know, there's a lot of things here to explore. Once I have this, I get my equipment. Okay, and I have here the equipment guy. Okay, I talk with him. So. He will comment with me where I want, and depending on my rank, I will get several equipment. The equipment becoming more unlock according to my career. So, for example, I will be able to get handguns, shotguns, speed guns to get the speed of the cars, breath, alcohol, and many others equipments according to my progress. So right now I have my equipment, so I can go to do the shift. And another important aspect is that, for example, is right here. So is equipment like driving equipment, so the cars. As the other equipment, I can also be able to choose the car that I want to drive. There are more basic cars and more cool cars.
Well, you did get a key for one type car.
I have that. You see here over there? And for example, we have 3 cars, but I can only right now drive this one that is more basic. For example, when I will be able to do chase, for example, that is one of the very, very important to chase some criminal, I will use, for example, this one, that is the Verdi. All the cars looks like official cars, American official cars, but in fact they are one of the things that is they are fantasy cars. So, but for example, this is during the night. As you can see, I can here enter into the car, and so I can start driving or stopping. And by the way, I have several cameras. So for example, here from switching to make sure that I can do many things. Another thing is I can start the sirens or do other things. And another very important aspect is about the cockpit. So I can move inside the cockpit, and if I'm playing with multiplayer and I have a partner there here, I can see he can see me. I have the radio to communicate. I can select the target of any car, and I can see here in the computer. So I can even do turn left, turn right. I can move the sirens on or off, turn on the radio, whatever I want to do here.
So you do have a multiplayer mode?
Yes, we have a multiplayer mode, a single player multiplayer. The multiplayer is a co-op. So 2 persons can enter and collaborate in whatever they want. So, for example, during the shifts, I can do what is necessary to issue a parking ticket and etc. But meantime, all the time I can have emergency calls. The emergency calls are the action situations where if I can accept like this situation, I accept it. I need to go through and solve an emergent situation. It can be a car crash like this, can be a bank robbery, can be someone that's stolen something. Okay, so there is a lot of situations like that. So for in this case, I have the red ones, and the red ones indicated that is an emergency. So here, for example, was a crash that 2 cars crashed it. As you can see it, you have here the car, crash it. Okay, so and you have the other one. So you need to speak with the witnesses. You need to, speaking with witnesses, we have multiple questions. So you can select exactly what question you want to speak with the person. And depending on this question, for example, this is asking, 2 questions is, and you cannot just go over all of them because you have action points. That means that you need to see what question you need to select precisely so you can receive as a reward, okay, something that is interesting to uncover this. You can talk with both witnesses. You can, for example, see that sign and take a picture of the sign to see, in this case, the lady didn't respect the stop sign. So that is the key of the situation. And now you can, for example, okay, you need to solve, not only see what's happening to report, but also solve this. So he's calling right now the tow truck. So it's calling to the central. Central is sending a tow truck. So right now the tow truck is arriving. So
we see already quite a lot of detail in simulation. How far do these details spread? Do they also include things like physics?
Yeah, actually, one of the things that I will show to you is, for example, the details on all crash damage system. For example, every time that you crash, as you can see, everything is dynamic, so you can actually damage all the stuff. Also, for example, if any of these characters have been injured, so I can switch right now, for example, for a new situation here, so I can show you. For example, the damage, just by the way, just to show you. So while you are driving, just an example, you are driving, you can eventually crash the car. You can, by the way, you can target any car that you can see it and see if someone is. We are looking for some bank robbery or someone that is on a possession with illegal stuff. We can search any. We can stop any car. We can stop any person. One very important thing is we have hundreds of people here, and every people have an ID, totally unique. So we know every racial, we know the age of each one, the date of birth. So you can see all this information, including the address, and the address matches with the map, every single person. Wherever is a person that is walking the streets, wherever is a witness, wherever is a criminal, or wherever is a driver, for example. Another example that I can show you here is, it's, for example, an example about the crash system is, okay, I can use again just to demonstrate, for example. This is a demonstration crashing your own car, but you can, for example, shoot the tires, but it was not so, now you're shooting the tires, and the tires, for example, will damage the way that the car will be velocity. So if you are doing a chase, by the way, it's something that will be very important, is shooting the tires to make sure that the car will not move on. And so you can damage all the cars. That's why we're using not official cars, but fantasy cars, because you can crash all of them. It happens with all the cars that are here. So,
but it's not really an action game, is it? It's a simulation game.
It's a simulation, actually. But you know, that was the point. Is if you considering that you are a police, and one of the things that we love it as a police officer is, everybody wants to be somewhere a police officer, because there is a lot of action and a lot of tension on that, because you are protecting the innocents. You need to see where you try to find where are the criminals, and according to that, we want to make sure that you know, if you want to arrest, obviously you get into a violent crime situation. For example, just to see. Just another example is, let's say, one example here. For example, okay, if you, for example, when you are escorting, for example, you can go with artificial intelligence, or not with artificial intelligence, but with your colleague if he's in multiplayer, and you can protect the transport vehicle, for example, where you need to match and to defend. So all of these and sometimes other situations can happen, by the way, and everything can be, like, for example, suspect identification. For example, you can ask someone to stop anyone. You can if he's a driver, you can step in the vehicle. You can ask to step out the vehicle. You can, for example, you can have a speed gun if you have this equipment, and select any car and see what is the speed limit. And if it's a wrong speed limit, you can ask and issue a ticket. Or if he's a drunk people, or for example, in this case, he was in a possession of red illegal inventory, so you are being arrested. So you find people. So there's a lot of people here that are in illegal possessions of things that is, you cannot have drugs, or you cannot have weapons on your possession without and licensing, so you can arrest the guy. So these kind of things you can search everywhere, and there is a lot of Easter eggs that you can find under this open world.
So there's really lots and lots of detail, and also a lot of simulation depths, which our viewers will probably like very much. But is it also realistic? Did you talk to police officers and ask them if this is really like what they are doing?
Well, actually, we have working with the partners from Astragon. Before in the pre-production, we doing a lot of research. We talked with American officers to see how it works. But of course, due to the fact that this includes a certain level of fantasy, we have the opportunity to create more than 70 different missions. All of them, because we have American actors, all of them is with acting, all of them with multiple solutions, and because of that we created something that will be cool. So it's a mix about real simulation, but a fun game. That is also something that we are looking for, to have very entertainment setup.
When did you start developing the game, and when is it going to be released to the public?
Well, we started 3 years ago. Actually, we'll make it 2 years in January. Exactly the date that we started will be the date that we will release.